Struggling to make ends meet, facing what could be years of austerity. Life in Portugal for most is tough. The strain is also felt by the government as it battles with reforms which threaten to tear its seemingly fragile coalition apart. The country's Secretary of State for Energy, Artur Trindade, is in Brussels to attend a business summit and joins me now to discuss the rocky road ahead. Mr. Trindade, many thanks for joining us on iTalk. Now, Portugal has been described as the good pupil for diligently applying bailout demands, but for a good pupil, you seem to be doing extraordinarily badly.
Well, we know that reforms have to be made. They are essential for growth. We have to restructure some of the crucial aspects of the functioning of the economy, and we have to do so no matter what. So sometimes the yield of the reforms takes time to be generated, but we believe that in the long run it will yield results, and it will foster growth on our economy. Well,
in the long run, but I've seen that the government's predicted growth possibly for next year. That strikes me as wildly optimistic.
Well, that's the projections made by the government. We stick by it. I think it's the best projections we can have with the available data. But on this time of crisis, you know that the crisis is not only in Portugal, and the performance of the economy is also affected by exogenous factors that depend on decisions that are taken here in Brussels and elsewhere in the world. So we are part of the global economy, but we have to do our best in any case.
But exactly, because now 9 out of the 17 Eurozone countries are in recession. Does that not make you need to reevaluate those evaluations?
Well, we have to, as Europeans, to rethink constantly what is better for our economy and not to be stick to any dogmas. And we should have the flexibility to always deliver what is best for our citizens. But that should not exclude us from doing what is necessary on our own countries in order to achieve growth and to look after for future generations.
Well, that takes us very well to our first question.
Hello, my name is Christiana Coxidou and I'm from Greece. I want to ask, what is the alternative to austerity?
It's a very good point, because your government seems to be hell-bent on austerity. Why are you sticking with this approach?
Well, I don't see it as sticking with any approach. Reforms have to be made. We have to balance the accounts. That doesn't mean we are not having concerns about growth and programs for growth as well.
But the economy is doing incredibly badly, given the demands that you've been implementing. Unemployment is up. You aren't able to tackle your budget deficit. Voters are turning against you. Are you going to rethink it?
We launched a couple of weeks ago a strong program on industrial growth and industrial prospects for deliver jobs and growth into the economy. There are concrete measures laid there, and all these measures are in the direction to make the economy more agile, more responsive to stimulus, more competitive, and all of those, they are not linked with austerity necessarily.
Okay, well, let's go now to our next question.
Hello, I'm Dario from Italy. What would you do to stop the brain drain of people leaving Portugal in search of work?
So this is a real problem now, I think, of Portugal, because the best and the brightest are leaving in search of work in other countries. Unemployment for youth stands at about 40%. You can't blame them for wanting to go.
Well, that is one of the major problems we have in Europe, and we are making instruments at European level. As you see by Mr. Barroso, he launched a youth unemployment instrument that we are very much welcome. But we have our own programs as well that we are putting right now in place in order to tackle youth unemployment. But
what about the people leaving?
Again, that can only have a solution if the economy starts to grow again. Again, that's why it's so important the program we have for reindustrializing Europe, reindustrializing Portugal as well, and to keep part of the manufacture and industry in our shores, in our countries. And for this, we have to tackle some structural problems you have. We think we have already done it, and now we are doing it more strongly in a positive manner in order to foster growth. And in that way, we can capture some of the best working in our
Okay,
lives.
but for the generation to come, you've slashed education budgets, and if we've mentioned, I think last year 100,000 people left in search of better work. Do you not fear you're going to be breeding a generation of unskilled workers?
Well, we are fighting that. We want skilled labor on our economic model. Our economic model of growth and prosperity includes innovation, includes competitiveness, and this for that is necessary to have skilled people around. So we think once we start on the growing path, we can stop this draining, as you mentioned, and start growing again with everybody on board.
Okay, well, we're going to go now to our final question.
My name's Leo Robb and I'm from Scotland. Portugal and Spain have an abundance of sunshine and the potential to create a great deal of solar energy. Why doesn't Portugal combat unemployment by investing in the renewable sector? Well,
I think you're the right person to answer that question.
Well, thank you very much for that question. We are actually doing this. We have one of the highest rates of renewable energy penetration. We have developed quite a lot in terms of that industry. And we have, I can tell you that last winter in November, we had one day we had 90% of electricity generation in 1 hour coming from wind. But we have more. We have solar, we have hydro, and we have other sources of energy. To keep on this track, we also need European help and the implementation of the European single market.
So is Europe helping you enough, though, in this?
Well, we need to be connected with the rest of Europe. As you know, there are countries in Europe that still import a lot of energy.
And you can't export that energy?
But due to the lack of interconnections between Spain and France, it's difficult to Portugal and Spain to share their amount of renewable energy, including the sun, with other countries in Europe. So to get to the path of a low-carbon energy sector into the low-carbon economy at the minimum cost, we have to tackle interconnections. And energy policies should not be nationalized, and countries in Europe should not tackle energy issues without taking into account what's happened in the next border, because that will make all the energy solutions that we have in Europe more expensive.
Many thanks for joining us on iTalk.
Thank you very much.
That's all for this edition of iTalk. We'll be flagging up who our next guest will be on our website and on social media. So if you have a question, make sure you send it in. From the European Parliament studios in Brussels, I'm Isabel Kumar. Thanks for joining us.